We're talking Facebook advertising today for a full hour. Have you done any Facebook advertising, Catherine?
Yes, boosting on it. I'm gonna leave this area, but I do have a business page, and I have done boosting, and I have not felt that successful with anything with Facebook, actually.
Okay. Fair enough.
Stairs.
Do you think she's looking for money?
She's on the move.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. So
I am going to talk, and I probably go somewhere where I'm not disturbing others too.
Okay. Nope. Now we've got the other ones popping in.
There you go.
Hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Elizabeth? Elizabeth, can you hear me?
Just not. How about if, no, that doesn't work. I can't touch hers.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of delay from when they come on.
Are there two different Elizabeths? There's Elizabeth and Elizabeth H.
Yeah, I think they're the two staff members using
right.
One registration. Yeah. Elizabeth, are you here? Can you hear me? Elizabeth, I'm going to turn on the chat box. I hope that you can see what I'm writing. Elizabeth, can you hear me? Or Patricia? Patricia, Elizabeth? Hello? I know you're out there. Patricia and Elizabeth? Not seeing them. I'm going to hope that they can see my screen in some way. Elizabeth or Patricia? Nope, nothing, not getting anything from them. Catherine, bear with me. I'm going to go back to
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yep. Now I can hear you.
We had a call and I didn't have a microphone on my computer.
Oh, okay. That explains it. So you're both there on the other end?
Yep, I'm going to put you on speaker.
Okay. And can you see my screen?
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, that's You can see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great. Then we're good to go.
Okay.
And Patricia's there too?
Yes.
Yep.
Hi, Chris.
Hello. So we have Catherine, and so there's just a total of 4 of us here. Catherine and Elizabeth and Patricia and me. Okay. And usually I turn off the speakers or the microphones of my participants so I don't hear banging around, but I'm going to leave them open because we're a small class today. But that is to say, if you start typing on your keyboard, I will hear it, or if your dog comes in, I will hear it. So stay quiet if you can. So we're going to do an hour's worth of advertising today and learning about advertising. And I just had asked Catherine whether she had done any type of advertising, and she said she did a boosted post. Wasn't that thrilled with it. And I can't remember, having just met with you two, have you done paid advertisements yet, Elizabeth or Patricia?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Okay.
I've boosted a lot, you know.
Okay. Catherine has boosted. So that boosting is a form of advertising. But there are, my key message that you should take away is there are 9 different types of Facebook ads. So boosting posts is usually the gateway drug to advertising on Facebook. because Facebook prompts you to do it. It's right there in your face all the time, but know that that's not the only way you should go, and that there are some other types of ads that can be pretty darn effective. So and a reminder, Elizabeth and Patricia, you'll get a recording of this webinar afterwards for you to review and keep forever, okay? So on the matter of Facebook advertising, the options continuously change. So by the time I'm done here, they'll have changed something or added something else, and it's my job to keep up. So, but there are dozens and dozens of, we already did this, ways you can advertise, pay Facebook a little bit of money to be seen by more people than is necessary or than is normal. So the first two that people start out with often is a boosted post. That means you've put up a post and then you pay to have it distributed to a broader audience. Or a boosted event, and I think, Patricia, you and I talked about this. You create an event on Facebook, capital E, the Facebook event feature, that you create your event there, and then you can boost it in order to deliver it to a wider audience than what would normally see it. So those are the two starter ads that most people have experienced, and they're easy to do, and they're almost pre-formatted. All you do is press a button. But I want to show you how some of the other types of ads work, but know that in a very general sense, they all work the same way, and we're going to go through some of those principles. So what you're seeing here, hold on, got to move some of you out of the way so I can see. Go away. There's a post on the right-hand side that I did. It's just a thing about, do you need customers? If they see you 8 times, they might buy from you. So that's just a post that I put up for free. And down here, the button that says Boost Post is what Catherine has already done and we were talking about. Boosting it, if I were to press that button, it would walk me through the steps of telling Facebook where else do I want this post to go other than the existing likers or fans I have to that page. And we'll talk further about that to make it a little clearer. Go. So there's that button, Boost Post. The other boosted event, it works the same way. Here's the basic structure of an event, capital E, on Facebook. And down here at the bottom, boosting. It's the same button. It's the same purpose. Get that event in front of more people beyond the people who've already liked your page. All right? We are going to today, a little bit of theory first. What is the point of paying Facebook to do something that's for free? Which makes it's a totally an intelligent question to ask. What is the point of paying? So this post that I put up on my page is there for my 400 and some likers to see, except I can see from the data that only 58 of them have seen it. So I have 477 likers, but over the course of time, only 58 of them saw it. So that means my reach is down, and to get beyond that 58 and beyond the 477, I should consider paying a little money. So reach is something that's pretty tricky to control. It has to do with Facebook's algorithm. It has to do with the thing that you posted. Did people like it? Did they comment? Did they share it? All of that will affect your reach, meaning the number of eyeballs who see the thing that you posted, and boosting gets beyond that. Okay, so when I pay to boost this, what I can do is specifically target who else might see it. And that, what I mean by that is I'm going to tell Facebook where they live, who they are, male, female, are they married? I know we talked about this in our meetings, Elizabeth and Patricia, right? So that's why we're here, to pay a little money to get beyond the Facebook algorithms that are kind of tricky, get to more eyeballs, okay? So every other type of ad that Facebook offers you is built essentially the same way as you would do a boosted post or an event. So, but here's the difference. A boosted post and a boosted event happen after you've done those acts. You've written a post and made it go live. You've created an event and made it go live. then you do the thing, and you can boost that at the time or later. And I would always recommend later. See how the thing does on its own before boosting it. Okay, any questions on that so far?
No.
No.
Nope, okay, you're good. So know that we're going to talk about the other kinds of ads today. You are prompted with that blue button on the post or the event, because it's right there. It's right there in your face. But there are the places where you can create new ads on Facebook are all over the place. Facebook does make this pretty obvious, because guess what? They want you to do more advertising and give them money. So on this My Business page, somewhere on there, there's always this thing that pops up. It says create an ad or manage promotions. You should think of this blue button as a question mark from Facebook. Don't you want to create an ad right now? That's what they're saying. There's always this place on the drop-down menu on the right-hand side, where I think I taught you, Elizabeth and Patricia, how to toggle between your personal page and your business page. Same menu, but down at the bottom, manage ads, or towards the middle, I should say. Manage ads is a way to get at creating ads. This button here that you'll see, create an ad, and now they've added this thing near your about section, which is usually over on the left. Built in, it says promote website, and what that is saying, you should also think of that as a question mark from Facebook. Wouldn't you like to take this opportunity to promote your website, that website that lives off of Facebook, but with a Facebook ad? They build that in to your about section. So Facebook is prompting you. Here's another one you'll see sometimes right smack in the middle of your news feed when you're working on it. Reach people nearby. If you were to click on that, it would walk you through the steps to creating an ad that's meant to get the people very near your geographic area. Over on the right, get more page likes. That's what we're going to do today. I'm just going to walk you through a get more page likes type of ad. But here it is again. They're prompting you. Facebook is prompting you. This thing down at the bottom, get started with automated ads. I haven't explored that too much. It's very, very new, and it's a way for you to tell Facebook, always run this certain ad first until I tell you to stop. And it's on the face of it, seems like a pretty good feature, but I just haven't explored it enough yet. But know that Facebook is prompting you to make some other ads. So if you were, here's another place they do it, up at the top, in the blue bar at the top of your page, is now this word create. This too is pretty new, that it's up here. If you press on the button that says create, you can create a page, you can create an ad, you can create a group, an event, or a marketplace listing, or a fundraiser. So for our purposes here, we want to create an ad. Okay. So if I were to press on any one of those buttons I just showed you on the previous slides, this screen comes up. This is step one. And what Facebook is doing is asking you, well, you're thinking about advertising. What is it you're trying to do? Right here, what is your marketing objective? So if Catherine is a realtor in Peterborough, what might her objective be with putting out an ad? I'm going to put you on the spot here, Catherine, make you answer that question.
Well, there are a bunch of things. I'd like people to call me. I'd like people to see what houses are I'm promoting.
Yep.
I'd like people to engage if they choose to. Well, those are my main things.
Yeah. So just at least we know in your mind, you'd know the purpose of this ad I'm about to do should be to, let's say, call me.
Right.
To set up an appointment or whatever it is. So that is within one of these three main headings up here: build awareness, build consideration, or build conversion. Mm-hmm. The idea of wanting that person who sees the ad to call you comes under traffic. And if I were to click on traffic on a live Facebook page, it would bring up the option of building an ad that has your phone number literally built into the ad within Facebook. Okay, so you should think of these three broad categories: brand awareness or reach. The middle one's traffic, engagement, blah, blah, blah. Conversion over here on the right. Conversion means turn them into a customer. And that is for, over on the right is mainly for people who are selling things online, like have a web store, a web-based store. Okay. So the one I want to walk us through today comes under consideration, and it's under consideration, it's subheading engagement, meaning I want the viewer of this ad to engage with me and my business and my Facebook business page, engage with it. So here's what would happen if I were to click engage on that page. It comes up and it says, I'm sorry, this is going back to, this is what we're going to do. Get more page likes is what we're building here. Slides in the wrong place. Before we get too much into the weeds about how to build that liking ad, here's some theory, again, that applies to all types of ads on Facebook, that you should take this 3-step approach. You should experiment. Like, don't think that one ad is going to do it. You should do an ad, see how it performs, study its performance, and then repeat it if it worked well, if that makes any sense. So let's say you've done a boosted post like Catherine has in the past, and she said she was not happy with its performance. She should examine the data behind that boosted post, and that data is pretty darn detailed, and it's available to you in several different places within Facebook, the data behind what you've done. Study it, and then change it up in some way. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But my main point here is to approach this with a spirit of experimentation, because it doesn't cost that much. It's okay to experiment. And I'll talk more about budgets in a minute. So like I was saying before, your number one rule is knowing what you're trying to do, but most importantly, who exactly are you trying to reach? What is the target audience for this ad? You cannot build a successful ad unless you know that. So I think for both of your types of businesses, the Realty in Peterborough and the Cathedral of the Pines over there in Ringe, this is a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Who are you trying to reach? Elizabeth and Patricia, have you had further discussion about, as an overall page, the Cathedral of the Pines, who would you like to come and who's actually coming?
I think this year, because we are just revamping new events.
Oh, can't quite hear you there. See if you can speak up.
So one goal is for this year, because we're offering many new events and programs, we're trying to really just get a wide variety of people.
Yes.
That are probably more local within a certain radius, who would venture out on a Sunday afternoon, for example, to come hear a concert pianist perform for 1 hour.
Yep. So you're trying to attract a wide variety of people, but it's probably true that with each event, it's only going to appeal to a certain type of person, right?
Right.
Does that sound accurate?
Yes.
I think we talked about that. So if it's a hip hop event, you're going to lean towards the youngsters, and if it's a chamber orchestra, you probably have to lean towards the older people, right?
Correct.
And sorry, I've been talking entirely too much and losing my voice. So to know who it is you're trying to reach with any given ad, to be as specific as possible is more effective than let's just see if we can get everybody. And I'm going to demonstrate how that works in the Facebook back end here. But and for Catherine too, I imagine you've got a bunch of different target audiences, but at certain points you're trying to reach one over another. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I have different age groups that I would target: millennials or downsizing, people wanting to downsize their housing. I have buyers that I would target, and sellers I would target.
Right.
So the sellers to get their listings and the buyers to buy those listings.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming within each listing, you probably know who's going to go for the small house and who's going to
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you just have to be clear with each ad you do, who it is you'd like to bring in.
Okay.
There are cases for casting the widest possible net, but mostly you want to be as specific as you possibly can for each use. And like I say, experimentation is the key. Here are some of the key things you'll want to know. What is the age of the group you're trying to reach? What is their marital status? What is their gender? And I always say this, even though you may have what you think is an absolutely a thing that appeals only to men, you should probably include the women, because the women make the buying decisions in the family. It sounds like a gross generalization, but the marketing data shows that that's true. Or if it's an event, again, gross generalization, but it's generally the women who see it and say to their husbands, we're going to this thing, honey. So consider that when you're creating something about an event. Consider where they live. And then for us in the wonderful Monadnock regions, you have to consider winter weather. How far away are they going to come? Are they going to come over the mountain or not? And Facebook is so good that you can begin to target very, very specific interest categories. It could be, so in this particular slide here, could be women who are 35 years old, who are married, who live within 50 miles of Peterborough, and a bonus could be that they're interested in soccer or something like that. But we'll see how that can and cannot work to your advantage. So just a word, the Facebook ads look something like this on the right-hand side. They will show up on the right-hand side of your Facebook page and down the middle in your newsfeed. And they are annoying when we are seeing them until they're absolutely something that we wish to buy. Okay? So what you're seeing on the right-hand side here at the top is our fancy dresses, and the bottom is a blue couch. And I am seeing these ads because very close to the time of creating this slide, I was searching for fancy dresses to go to a wedding, and I was searching for literally a blue couch. And when I say search, I mean out on the internet using Google. I was searching for places to look for those things. And Facebook is so smart, it knows what I've done, and it's delivering me ads within my Facebook right at that time that I'm about to make that buying decision. So they're annoying until there's something you're interested in. So that's what you should think about. Especially realty, you're going to be right in there. People are going to, Facebook is going to know if somebody is out there searching Zillow and turn on these types of ads the minute they go back to Facebook. It's intriguing and annoying until they work in your favor as the business. Okay. Here are just some reasons to consider paying some money before we get back to creating our ad. You are brand new to Facebook. You are brand new to business overall. You have a new product or service to offer, and that maybe applies to the Cathedral of the Pines folks. You're doing events. You've always done events, but you're doing more and more. So that's new, isn't it? So you should think about implementing a Facebook advertising strategy. You're holding an event, absolutely. And all of these, advertising for an event is my most favorite type of ad to create, and the most successful ones, I think. You should be doing this when you're just trying to get your visibility up to a highly targeted audience. So let's say you know you've got the women, but you really, really would like to get the men for whatever reason. You could target an ad just to men and just to very specific age group in order to bring in that new segment that you don't yet have. That's a legitimate Facebook advertising purpose. And then finally, think of doing paid ads when you don't want to spend a lot of money on other forms of advertising. Now, when I see the types of advertising people like Catherine put in the local ledger, I am astonished. Because I know what those ads cost per the inch, right, Catherine?
Yes, very much.
It can be an appalling amount of money for no guarantee that anyone is seeing it. The paper will say to you, and I love newspapers, don't get me wrong, but the paper will say to you, we have a subscriber rate of blah, 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 and here's the demographics we know about it. But they cannot tell you if anyone saw that particular ad that you paid good money and to place in a certain week in the local paper, okay? So there's no way your Facebook advertising is going to touch that level of expenditure unless you want it to. You can do that, but I don't ever recommend it. Okay, so, and just I'll give you some examples of that a little later, what it can cost. So some other reasons, they're really cheap compared to other forums. They're able to reach a hyper local audience. So Elizabeth knows I'm involved in theater type events, and we at the Peterborough Players, we know who our people are. We know how far away they come to the Peterborough Players come from, and therefore we can build an ad that zeroes in. We know if they're working because we ask them when they come in the door. Okay, if you can see that your ad is not getting traction, you can pause it in the middle, you can stop it instantly and not spend any more money on it. And conversely, you will know when they are working. You're going to start at least seeing clicks to your Facebook page, new likes to the Facebook page, or you're going to start getting people asking you questions through the Facebook page, which is a great result. Okay, so that's a good reasons to consider doing it. They can be created and stopped on the fly and in mid-campaign. So here's just a brief what it might look like. Here's the same ad in 3 different layouts. This was for a client of mine, people who train dogs out of Keene. So there's what it looks like on the desktop. You can see all the parts there. Over on the left-hand side is what the same ad looks like on a mobile phone, slightly different, and over on Instagram. So I don't know if any of you have an Instagram feed. Catherine, are you on Instagram?
Yeah, but I really don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and that's understandable. And I don't think the Cathedral of the Pines is on Instagram.
We're on it.
You are? Okay. Good for you. Do you
But we have a weird, Cathedral of the Pines was taken, and we were working with that young volunteer, and we have a strange login, like strange to find us.
Oh, well, there's a different problem, but
yeah.
Perhaps I can help you figure that out at some point. But just know that Facebook owns Instagram, and because of that, when you build a Facebook ad, it's really easy to take that ad, press a certain button if you want to, and say, yep, send that same ad over to Instagram. And that's why I'm showing you on the right-hand side. So same ad on the computer or the mobile phone on the left on Facebook, and on the right, mobile phone, but in the Instagram feed. So it's just handy that they're so connected. You can do it in one swell foop.
Hey, Chris, question. Is that the ability to do that, to transfer the ad, is that just a feature they offer? Do you have to pay extra for it, or?
It's a feature they offer. You don't really pay extra for it, but it probably is factored in somehow into how your money is spent when you give it a budget, which we'll get into. Just because you would be, in theory, you would be reaching more people, and you're always paying based on number of people reached. Well, that might make sense at the end of this, okay? So just know that 80% of us are looking at Facebook using our mobile phone, not often on the desktop. So know that it's good that there's a mobile version of the ad that breaks well. It's optimized, is what they say.
They ask you where you want it, on the desktop or
yes.
or a mobile.
Yep, desktop or mobile or Instagram or all 3. That's what they ask you, or any combination thereof. When you're building the ad, they'll ask you. Know that these ads are really good for places that businesses that have a physical location. So that means you folks at the Cathedral of the Pines. Kind of a different animal, isn't it, for you, Kathy? But
a little bit.
Yeah, but if you have an address, in the Cathedral of the Pines case, build the address into your Facebook business page. Then when you make an ad and somebody's looking at it at mobile, there's going to be this option to click to open a map and tell me how to get there, for those people who are passing through town and realize, oh, the Cathedral of the Pines is nearby, I'm going to go there. So it's a pretty awesome feature, the map built in. Okay, so now we're back to what I originally wanted to do. Promote your page to get more likers to your page, which is something you want to do when your page is new, and to do it every now and then to just boost up your number of likers, because that should be always your goal, is to ever onward creating more and more likers to that page, because that means ultimately that's your target audience that is going to do business with you, that are going to come to your events or eventually give you money. I always advise my clients to consider a Facebook like ad campaign, meaning the purpose is to get more likes, to do that quarterly. And that's what I do for myself as well. Every quarter I'll run an ad for a week saying, come like my page. All right. So now I'm going to go show you how to do that. Was there any questions thus far until I get into the weeds here? Everybody good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. You're with me? You're awake? All right. So here we are back at, we know that we want to build an ad whose purpose is to get people to like the page. On this first panel that Facebook gives to you when you say, I'm all about creating an ad right now, brings this up. The like my page ad is under consideration, as I said before, and it's under engagement. So the broad category consideration, that means consider doing something with my business. And what you're wanting them to consider doing is engaging with it. And then clicking to the next page, this comes up. Here it's explaining, what do we mean by engagement? And it means you're wanting people to make a comment, share it, like it, respond to an event, claim an offer, and that an offer is a different kind of ad. And in this case, we're wanting people to like the page. So down at the bottom, page likes, I would click that button. My purpose here is to get page likes, and then I click continue, and here's what comes up. Nope, right after these red lines comes up. Oh, sorry. The next thing it's going to ask you is about it's going to very quickly ask you about what is your budget. Facebook has built into this process a default budget of $25. And so when people see that, they panic and go, I didn't intend to spend $25. So I think I talked about my little old church. I spend $1 a day when we're having a craft sale, okay? $1 a day for a week. So $25 would break the budget, okay? So all the following examples are built on a $25 default, but know that you can spend as little as $1 on an ad. It's up to you, is my point. So now back 2 slides where I said my next step after I've told it I want to create a page-like ad, this comes up. And here's where it's asking you, who is your target audience? And built into the default structure here is the entire United States. And then it asks you, how old is your target audience? And the default is between 18 and all the way up to 65 and over. And the default is all genders. And here's where you would start programming it to be your demographic people that you're trying to reach. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But I want to show you what happens when we say it's everybody in the United States and it's all genders, all ages. Look at the right-hand side here. There's a needle that Facebook presents to you saying, this is too broad. This is too broad, which is to say it's not going to be an effective ad because you've cast a net that's too wide. You can reach with everybody in the United States at this moment. It was 195 million people, 195 million. Are any of you going to want to deal with 195 people, 95 million people? No. But now this is programmed with that $25 default budget. Over here it's saying, of that 195 million people, you could reach between 1,600 and 4,200 of them with an expenditure of $25. That's what that's saying. Don't do that. That's too broad and it won't be effective. But let's look at what happens when you start to change those elements on the left-hand side that I have circled in red. Let's watch what happens when we change them on the next slide. Yep. So this target audience is for me. I always start with Peterborough because that's where I'm well known for what I do. I target Peterborough, and I target people who are older than 35 because that's who needs to learn social media. The ones younger than that generally don't. And I always target women only because I know from 14 years experience that's who comes in my workshops and that's who calls me up and asks me to consult. I have male clients, absolutely, but it's always the women who are calling me. So I have now narrowed my target audience here to Peterborough, and in this case 25 miles from Peterborough because I was putting on a live workshop right here in town. And I thought that was about as far as anybody would come to listen to me. Older than 35 and just women. That's what I changed these elements over here to be. And look what happened to the needle. Now it's smack in the middle saying this is very specific. That's good. It's reminding me what I set it at. Peterborough, 25 miles from Peterborough, age 40 to 65, female, and the placements are, like we were talking before, Facebook news feed and the right-hand column. I've told it that's where the ad should appear. So for my $25 with this now very delineated target audience, I could reach, potential in that audience is 100,000 people living in within 25 miles of Peterborough, and for my $25, I could reach this many, 1,500 to 3,900. So isn't that awesome? For $25, I could guarantee that at least 1,500 people are going to see an ad talking about one of my workshops. But that's way more than I could ever handle in one of my workshops. And it's probably to my benefit to just bring that down by virtue of not spending that much money. So I could bring the dollar amount down, and then this number that I've got circled down here would come down as well. Still be way up there and still be way worth it. That's my point. So anybody?
Chris, I have a question.
Yes.
Where are you coming up with this $25, and where are you actually getting the pricing eventually for what you're doing?
Yeah,
or what we will do?
Yes. So we haven't gotten to that section yet.
Yeah, okay.
It's just, this has been pre-formatted for $25. Facebook does that by default. And then when we get to the budgeting area, we get to change it. That's why that's why I was warning you, don't panic about the $25. But that's what this is built on. We'll get to a point where we get to put in our own numbers, okay?
Yep.
All right. Any other questions on that part?
Nope.
Okay,
Yep.
You're good. So again, there are many more detailed targeted options we could put in there. Remember I said soccer moms, and you could put more in there, but that would likely, in our little area, cause that needle to go the other way, being too specific. Most people I talk to around here want to be, and then I want to target people who are into organic gardening. Now that is just because we're so small, geographically speaking, we're a small town. It would be too narrow to be effective. Generally speaking, you wouldn't reach those folks if you were too narrow, okay? So here we are back. Now, this is the next screen that comes up, Elizabeth. See where it says daily budget, pre-formatted to $25. This is like when the fundraisers call you and say, wouldn't you like to give $50 today? And you go, no, I was planning on 10. It's the same concept. So right here, it's saying, the budget and schedule, you're about to fill out the budget and schedule part of the ad building area. Daily budget means what you want to spend per day. And there's also an option to click this down arrow here and say lifetime budget. In other words, the total I want to spend for this ad campaign is X, and that you don't care how much you spend per day. So that's just a difference there. You might choose one or the other, lifetime budget versus daily. So the minimum you can spend is $1. The maximum is they'll take all your money if you want. And then your next thing, and I would advise you to, when you're new, play with $1 a day. And then you decide how much money you want to spend. $1 a day, and for events, I would say leading up to that event, do $1 a day for the week leading up. And what we know, and why I say that is we know that people make last minute decisions around here, whether they're coming to an event, don't they? So then the next thing you do is set the schedule. I want this ad to run from December 6th. This is probably the date I created this ad, until December 13th, about a week later. So 1 week, okay? So I told it, spend $25 a day for 1 week. I would never do that. That's too much money. But that's what you're doing. You have complete control over every element you're seeing here. And then as you're building this ad, it confirms. So from what you said, what we hear you saying is you want this ad to run for 7 days, and you won't spend more than $175. That would be however many days times 25. Okay. So no, again, this is all variables that you get to decide on. So the other types, we're still building our like my page ad, okay? Sorry, got myself screwed up here. Every other type of ad on here is built using those same elements: target audience, age, geography, other interests maybe, geography with a radius from that geography. And you can add things like the town of Peterborough and the town of Concord, or the town of Peterborough and the state of Massachusetts. You can do things like that with your targeting of the geography, which is not a bad thing to do. So the next steps, you've set the target, you've set the budget and the schedule. Now, then it says, what's the design? For those two that I said were the gateways, boosting a post and a Facebook event, the design is kind of pre-formatted. You did it already, and all you're doing when you turn it into a boosted post or a boosted event is telling it to go to a wider audience. All the other design elements are already there. But if you were building a Like My Business Page ad, which is what we're doing, you have to add some art. We'll show you how to do that. So the other types, you need a quality image or a video to go in an ad, and know that you can have an ad that contains a video, and those are very effective because video is effective. But there's lots of formatting options, okay? So here we are at we've done the targeting, we've done the scheduling, we've done the budget, and then it says, what is your ad creative for this ad you're creating to promote your page, to get more likers to it? The ad creative, meaning the art, okay? So that ad creative can be a single image, and that image could be a photograph or a graphic like a cartoon or some element of design. It can be a video, it can be a slideshow. See what you're saying right here, slideshow. Create a video with up to 10 images. What that is 10 still images get turned in to a carousel that moves. So in other words, it's still photographs, but it acts like a video, and therefore it will gain more attention. So know that those are possible. When you're building this Like My Page ad, it's automatically going to grab the last, the cover photo, the big banner photo at the top of your page, and it's building it from that piece of that banner photo. And most of us don't want it to do that. You don't need to do it. It's just automated. So that's what's showing here in this fake ad I've created. It was something that was my cover photo at the time. But I have the option of saying, nope, I want a different piece of art there, and I would either browse my library, meaning my collection of photographs or graphics that live on my hard drive on my computer is what I would get if I hit Browse Library. Free stock images would bring me to a place in Facebook where it would enable me to find images that are copyright free and free, meaning I don't have to pay for them, but represent my business in some way.
Wait, where's the option to get, Browse Library, free stock images.
Browse Library is yours.
Yep.
And free stock images are theirs, Facebook's. Okay.
Great.
Everybody clear on that so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're building the design of the ad, and the ad is represented over to the right, including all the elements that you've decided upon so far. It's not a done deal. It's just going to change as you change these. So down here, see where it says text? That is referring to this area over here where there's a little bit of text leading into this graphic. So I would go about changing the graphic, and then I would, in this box over here, type what I want it to say. So if this is what we're building, a Like My Page ad, you could say something like, the Cathedral of the Pines mission is to blah, blah, blah. Won't you like our page? Actually instruct people to do it in the text of the ad. And what I mean by do it is come over to the ad, see what you've written, and down below, click the thumbs up. And that's not a thumbs up to the ad, it's a thumbs up to the page. And that's what you're trying to get at. Okay? So you get text, you get to manipulate text. There will be a character limit, but it's pretty long. You get to manipulate the graphic, and you get to, that's about it, you're done. And if you want, you can see, once you're done, you can see, what does this look like on the desktop? What does it look like on the mobile? What does it look like on the right-hand side of Facebook? Okay, so that's pretty much it in terms of how to design a Like My Page type of ad. You pick the art, you pick the text, you tell the text where to go. You add this part, the thumbs up is done for you. You don't have to do anything. It's just indicating that's what your goal is with this ad, and you're done. And that's wonderful. So I'm going to stop right there. Anybody confused about that?
Nope.
You're good so far?
I have a question.
Yep.
So the picture that you had for your ad, was that a poster or something? It already had the text in it, and did it reside on your computer as like a JPEG or something?
I'm going to go back. The one you're seeing here was pulled automatically from the cover photo at the top of my page. Whatever the cover photo, which is the big wide banner at the top of my page. How it got there was, yes, I created it. I designed it over in a program called Canva, which means I took the photograph of us two and I added the text and I added the colors and put it up in the cover photo. Okay. So then this ad is pulling from that, but remember I said that's automatic. You at this point decide what is the image you want. Maybe it's not that cover photo. Maybe it's your logo. Maybe for Catherine, it's the most recent listing she's gotten. But something related to your business should go in that space.
So you have, whatever it is, you have to pull it in first to Facebook, to your library of photos or images?
No,
sitting on your hard drive of your computer?
Yeah, you don't have to pull it into Facebook. Facebook pulls in from Facebook, again, as a default. And then if you're using the Browse Library button over here, that's where you're telling it, go find something on my hard drive.
Okay.
If I were to click there. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
Confusing.
So Chris, but I don't know if you can see when I move my mouse. I guess no. Can you?
If I can see what?
I'm moving the mouse. Can you see what I'm doing? Probably no.
No.
So I see in your picture you have two boxes, text content, one in the bottom and one in the side. So my question is, can I create that when I am Facebook, or I have to create when I'm just doing my JP?
Oh, are you talking about the colors in what you're seeing here?
No, you have here in the side. I don't know what you said. Can you read it?
Yeah, I think you answered that. Patricia's asking, can you create the text that's surrounding, for example, your picture? You've got the picture, you got the pink, says video marketing and then the purple has broadcasting, then there's your picture, and then there's text on the left and in the bottom.
Yes.
So she's asking, can you create that within Facebook, or you do that offline first?
Yeah, you do that offline first. And that was just, again, something that happened automatic because this existed on my Facebook page. But I created it elsewhere in a program called Canva. And I added the text to the photograph and I added the colors. And here's a note. If you have a lot of words on the graphic that you're going to use in your ad, Facebook warns you that people are less likely to look at ads that contain a lot of text right on the graphic. Isn't that weird? And it has to do with our training, as we think of that as spammy if we see a lot of text there. So what I'm saying is I ultimately probably did not use this picture as the ad. It just was pulled in as a default. Did I confuse things further?
No.
Yeah, so you got to, in some other program, create the graphic that you want to put in to the Facebook, if it's not the automated one. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Cool on that. All right, here's what we know. We have 10 minutes left. Here's what we know about what types of images to use in our Facebook ads and everywhere. Facebook wants your graphic or photograph in the ad to be directly relevant to your product or service. What does that mean? What they mean is, do not put up a picture of cuddly kittens if you're about to have a Blessing of the Motorcycles event at the Cathedral of the Pines. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Cuddly kittens are going to get people's attention. Absolutely. They're going to click on it. They're going to like you, and they're going to click through and realize, oh, they're talking about the Blessing of the Motorcycles. I am now mad at them. That's what we know about human behavior. So that's one reason not to do it. But also Facebook's algorithm will catch on that you're doing that sort of thing, and will punish you for it. They won't deliver your ad as frequently as possible. So, and that's a trick that, the big snarky guys will do more often than us little guys. The car salesman will have the half naked woman up there, right? But that's what that means. So whatever photograph you pick, the graphic or the video or the photograph should be clear at a very small size, because most of us are going to see it using our smartphone. And that's why you want to have a clear image, something that will stand out as we're scrolling by our phone. Okay. So if it's I think I talked about this before too. If you have a logo or something, or we're given a piece of art about the event that's coming up and it's a nice line drawing, those line drawings don't do so well at this size. So pick a different graphic to go with your ad. Make sure it's clear at a small size so people can go, oh, what is that? Oh, that's a motorcycle. I want to click on that to find out about the blessing of the motorcycles. So the less text with your graphic, the better. I just talked about that. That's a Facebook kind of rule. Here's what we know about human behavior. An ad that contains a face, a human face, is the most popular type of ad, as in it will get the most attention. Better to have a close-up of a face than a faraway shot of people, like on the left here. This is advertising the very same thing. It's an assisted living place, and they were showing, we have residents doing fun activities like hanging out with horses. On the left, it's not a bad message, but there's no face looking at me in that ad, so I don't know where to look. Over on the right-hand side, there's a beautiful older woman. She's got eyes. I can see her eyes. I'm going to look at that one over and above the one on the left. So human faces are always best in a Facebook ad if you can manage it. Gets a little tricky if you're advertising real estate, Catherine, but then you just have to have the most beautiful houses up there.
Yeah.
Here's an example of how other people have created their liking ads. So here's just a licensed psychologist. This is just an example of an end product. He says a little bit about what he does. He's got a picture of him. Down below that picture is the official name of his business, which will be formatted automatically for you by Facebook. And it's got that like thumb, meaning I'm going to go like his page after I see this ad. Over here on the right, on the other end of the spectrum, Max Bratwurst. It's all about some place that's a German restaurant. A little bit about it, a great graphic, the name of the thing, and the like button. So that's what they look like in the end when you're done with that. Is that questions on that? Confusion?
No, it's clear.
Okay. Any confusions there, Elizabeth or Patricia?
Just, I kind of ran out of the room for a second, but sorry.
That's all right.
The show must go on, as
Yes.
they say. So the text, for example, I'm looking at the doctor.
Yeah.
The text underneath this picture, is that from the text box you showed us earlier where we type?
No, it's the reverse.
You had typed your
Right. It's the reverse.
your website address, I think.
Yeah. In this case, that is equivalent of the text that's above his photograph. Licensed psychologist who provides individual, he typed that in that text box.
Okay.
Down at the bottom, the part that says Dr. Robert Schnackler - licensed psychologist, that was drawn from the name of his page automatically.
Okay.
The
Got it.
name of his Facebook page. He didn't type it in. Facebook formatted it for him.
Okay.
So the part above the photograph is absolutely customizable to say whatever you want it to say. Is everybody good on that?
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see what else I've got here because we're closing in on time. So now we're circling back to where we began, the whole concept of boosted posts. So I've taught you how to do a like my page ad, and I hope you can follow the steps to do that. And I recommend you do it to get those numbers of likers up. Boosted posts. Facebook is watching what you do, and it will often come up, it'll pop up. You've probably seen this. This post about horses on the farm is performing better than 85% of anything else you've done recently. Don't you want to boost it? Have you seen those messages come across?
Yep.
Yes.
Catherine has? But,
Yes.
Yeah. So Facebook is saying that because you put up something for free that people liked and they commented and shared, and they know there's some action, some engagement with that post. They're saying that means you did something right, and let's capitalize on that and do it some more. Get that to a broader audience. Now that's a good, it's not altruistic on Facebook's part. They want you to spend more money, but they are making that suggestion based on a real thing, which is you put up something good that people liked and commented. It resonated with people. So they're saying, let's get it to more people. When you see that, don't do it automatically. Don't say, yes, I want to boost that. Then you want to take a step back and think about it. Think about whether you want to boost it. So Liz, you'll appreciate this. But so I did the Facebook page for the Bond Wellness Center here in Peterborough for a long, long time. And I would just post pictures of fun things happening there every day. One day it was a member brought in these flowers, which are edible nasturtiums. Okay, that's what I learned. And when I did that, everybody liked it because, it was beautiful, it was spring, and everybody liked the fellow members, and it popped up with that message over in the lower left. We have this is performing 75% better. So I could boost that to get it beyond the typical wellness center audience, except why would I?
Yeah.
The only message there is we had some pretty flowers. It's not a marketing message. Now they could have chosen to get it beyond the usual people, even though it's not a marketing message, but it would be a questionable expenditure of their advertising budget.
Yeah.
If it had said something like, we just added this awesome new class, don't you want to come join our gym so that you can take advantage of this class? That would make sense. So it was a nice post. It got a lot of action, but not one you'd want to spend money on. You will have to make those kinds of decisions when you get this pop-up message to boost a post. I do it rarely because I know so many tricks. I don't have to spend a lot of money, but at a certain point, it makes total sense to do it. If you get that really good traction on an event or something really, really important for you, you probably should boost it when Facebook recommends it. So now that I've said all that, Facebook does give you the data behind your ad in real time. So down here at the bottom of this left-hand side, sorry, losing voice again, you can see that I boosted whatever this was, boosted it today. I boosted it for a few days, so it's finishing in 2 days. That's what it says down at the bottom. So far, my boost has reached 113 people, and 39 people have engaged with it. So it's giving me that data right then and there, even though the ad is not done running. It hasn't fulfilled my budget or my schedule, but I can, in a glance, see how it's working. And that gets back to my original idea of experimentation. If you got to the end of your campaign period and these numbers were not very good, Catherine said she wasn't thrilled with whatever she did, then you look at the numbers, think about it, and then change one or more of the elements in that original and try again if you have the money. Change the photograph, change the text, change the target audience, and then run it again and see what happens, or not, depending upon. Yep.
I have a question, because a lot of times I'll say in those ads, I don't want my friends or other people. I want, people out there in the world, not my friends. But the only ones who click are often my friends. They're, this thing is coming up in front of them too.
Oh, right.
And so they're it's like, well, you live in Chicago and you're not going to be buying a house, and I don't want you.
Yeah, don't you hate that? There is a place in the ad building area. It's not part of something you can do with the like my page type, but in the other ad building area, there is a place where you can say, send this to everybody who already likes my page, or to nobody who likes my page, which would make sense. And you want to look for that feature every time you build something.
All right. I thought I always had, but nobody. Yeah. But those people still might.
They absolutely might see it, because either you've taken action on the ad or one of their friends has, and then it pops up that has done so. So and because they love you, they're going to go, oh, let's support Catherine by liking the thing. Yeah.
Right. Right.
I feel your pain there.
It's a pain.
So the recording,
maybe that's why I feel like it's not working for me, because
so my message is, don't spend a lot of money and keep at it though. Spend a couple of bucks for a week and see if you can find those features. And if you
Okay.
get into trouble, give me a call or something. But don't spend a lot of money, but keep trying. I just did
Okay.
I'm in the middle of a major campaign for a farmer guy over in Francistown. He's spending a lot of money. And our first try got nothing. And the second try went, and they kind of built on each other because people saw the ad but didn't click on it. And anyway, you just never know what's going to take off. But trust me that these things work in the end. They're worth the money that you're spending on it, I think.
That's
So
good to know.
Yeah. Here's another way to that it's showing you in real time. This was an ad I was running for a while. It shows me when I'm visiting it's an event. Sorry, it's a boosted event. As I visited the event as the administrator, it showed me on the right-hand side how the promotion of this event, the paid app option, was working in real time. It says, here's what you got: one ticket click from this ad, and we reached this target audience. So it's right there in my face, and I could say, oh, it's working, or it's not. I'm going to turn it off before I spend another dime, or whatever it is. Or the seats are all full. I can't handle more people.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. And here's once you've been at this for a while, know that every ad you've ever created is recorded within the Facebook brain, and this kind of data is there forever and a day. You can see what result did you get, what did you spend on that particular ad, how many people did you reach, what did you spend today, what was the total, when did you start it, and that's just good data for your own learning and for reporting to the big boss or whoever's watching your budget strings.
Okay.
So here we are right at 1 o'clock. Woohoo. Questions remaining? Are you? No? You're inspired or intimidated?
No, inspired.
Okay, good. Elizabeth?
Two things. One, first question, did you say not to boost posts?
No, I said when they recommend you boost it, when Facebook recommends it, you think about it.
Over and above the initial one.
Yeah. Don't take their word for it. Think about whether it meets any of your goals.
Okay, and then the second question was, so if you say, for example, I want to spend $1 a day for 7 days.
Yep.
What do they just adjust how often they show an ad to your target audience? Like, how do they determine what happens if I say I want to spend $25 a day versus $1 a day?
Yeah. There was a point at which I showed you it'll reach a range of people. Like I think one of my examples was between 1,800 and 2,500.
Yeah.
If you're putting $1 in there, it's going to show you what the range is. If you put $25, it'll show you a higher range. It's always a range because they can't guarantee any.
So that's also based on dollars, not just on the parameters that you selected.
Yes, it's based on
narrowing
dollars.
Down your target audience.
Yep, based on dollars, and then your target audience, and it also is absolutely based. What happens to your ad is absolutely based on all those factors, plus whoever else might be trying to target that same audience at that same time. And what I mean by that is Starbucks trying to advertise to me at the same time you're trying to advertise to me. Starbucks is going to win because they put in more money.
Got it.
I mean, it doesn't mean I'm not going to see your ad, but that's how it all works. Is it's dependent upon who else is playing in the field at any given time. That's why there's a range. How's that?
Okay. Thank you.
It's worth the gamble, and it's because it's not a gamble. Because you can spend so little money and see a reward.
Grace, I have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a silly question. What happened is we never clicked the boost button, so I am not sure. You said that when we are advertising, we can choose how much we want to spend. Do we have the same option when we do the boost, or
Oh, yes.
to choose how much we want it?
Yes, absolutely. You have all those same options. Pressing the boost button brings up that very same, those very same screens. Who are you going to send it to? Where do they live? Are they married? What gender? And then your budget. And it's all up to you.
So what is the difference, or what is your advice? Should we use the boost? What is the difference between boosting and advertising?
Well, that was my point. There is no difference, except we've come to know boosting posts as a different entity than any of these other things. It's all the same process of paying Facebook to get beyond the usual number of likers. And so there's 9 different types of ads. I only showed you one, the like type, but there's boosted posts, boosted events, a like type, and there's 7 more that we don't have time to get into. But
So do
it's all
both
the
have
same.
the same result, or do you think maybe advertising works better? Or
No,
the
it's just,
result-
again, it all depends on your objective. I would admonish all of you to run a like my page ad periodically just to keep those numbers up. If you're doing an event, official events, I love those kinds of advertisements because they're easy to do and they show results quickly that you get people to know about your event. But it all depends on your objective. There is an ad type that you can build that whose sole objective is to get people's email addresses so that you can market to them using email marketing. There's one that you can build that is just about giving them a discount or a coupon of a digital sort, which is kind of fun. So it was too much to get into for 1 hour webinar, but they all act the same in those steps that I showed you at the beginning.
Someday we're gonna know the rest of the story.
Everybody, more questions?
I'm good and I have to get going. But,
Yeah, thank you,
I
Kathy.
enjoyed it and I'll look forward to your next one.
Okay, excellent. Elizabeth and Patricia?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, thank you so
Chris.
much.
We will see if we are good students. We are tested, probably if it's not this week, next week.
Oh, okay, excellent. Reminder that you'll get a link to the video version of this probably tomorrow morning, if not at the end of the day today. Okay,
Great.
so you can review
All
it.
right, thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much
Have a
for
good day.
popping in, and we'll see you next time.
That sounds good. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye now.